And now we'll bring up Gervonta Tank Davis as
Ooh, that's dangerous. Yeah, that's dangerous.
The press conference for the most anticipated rematch between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach descended into absolute chaos, culminating in a wild brawl. In a stunning moment, Davis launched a chair at Roach, letting his actions speak. Louder than words, the WBA lightweight champion, known for his relentless aggression, looked ready to settle the score well before fight night. However, the tension didn't originate with Davis. It was Roach who sparked the provocation, with his vocal supporters in the crowd adding fuel to the fire.
We don't care about none of that. Okay. This ain't never gonna stop. No way. We gonna pay for it.
What did you want to say to him?
He a front runner like everybody else that fought. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay.
So you said he's a front runner just like everyone else you fought?
Showing off for the people that's here. That's all he doing. Showing off for them. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's showing off. He ain't had none of this energy any other time. Now, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Tank had already exchanged heated words with Roach's team before their first bout, but this confrontation crossed the line. As Roach attempted to calm things down, Davis snapped, hurling a chair directly at him. Security rushed in to defuse the situation as members of Roach's camp threatened to storm the stage. Roach fanned the flames with a bold statement, "I showed the world I can hang with you. Next time I'm taking that belt for good." A visibly enraged Davis responded, "You talk too much, Lamont. I'm going to shut you up for good." The explosive encounter only raised the stakes for the rematch, sending fans into a frenzy.
It's always an electric atmosphere when you step into the ring. And once again, the last time you were in Barclays Center, you broke records. They're anticipating those records to be broken. What happens as Gervonta Tank Davis defends his world title again?
Same old, same old. I get the people what they want to see, man. Explosive knockouts and shit like that. That's what come with me. So
The drama didn't stop there. It spilled backstage, where Davis reportedly cornered Roach and issued another chilling warning, "I'm coming for you. No running, no excuses. This time I prove who the real champ is." Roach didn't flinch. He stood his ground, confident he could outbox Davis, and finally claimed the lightweight crown. Their tense face-off at a packed MGM Grand in Las Vegas crackled with hostility. Their last meeting ended in a controversial draw. Davis's team left, furious, while Roach's corner claimed they were robbed.
One round one. You know when the niggas, when they start talking, when the people that who I fight, when they start talking, that's when y'all get them. I'm gonna beat his ass and start talking. Not at all. Never. Nothing.
The lingering controversy from that first fight has only intensified interest in the rematch, turning it into one of boxing's most buzzworthy events. It's initially set for June 21st. The bout has been postponed to late summer or early fall, giving both camps more time to prepare. Despite the delay, both fighters are locked in with pride, legacy, and the title on the line. The chaos at the press conference has only amplified the hype, igniting fan debates across social media. One fan remarked, "Davis has finally met his match. His out-of-mind game's violence is all he has left." It's a bad look for the sport.
Don't worry about them. They might get they gonna trick you off the spot. They gonna trick you off the spot, so don't worry about that.
ideally like to get him out of there.
Man, everybody won the first round.
I'm loving this drama between Lamont Roach and Gervonta.
One exclaimed, "This has Fight of the Year written all over it." The press conference was electrifying, locked in for the rematch. Another fan declared, "It's going to be a war. Davis needs redemption after that draw." I hope Lamont wins this one, but opinions remain divided. A third fan argued, "Tank's going to shut Roach down. Roach can box, but he can't take Tank's power." This time, Davis finishes the job, no doubt.
But shit, I'm trying to knock anybody else. I don't care if it was him, if it was anybody else. I'm trying to knock everybody else.
Hey, come on now, him about the first fight.
You know what I'm saying? You know what it is, punk, bro. Come on. Everybody in this room right now know what's going on. Come on, stop. Stop. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all know how I'm coming. Y'all know how I'm coming. So stop. Stop it. Stop it. Y'all gonna make it hard for him. That's what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna make it hard for him.
Yet many still believe Roach is the real threat. "Lamont is a beast," one supporter posted. "He pushed Davis to the edge last time and he'll do it again. His speed and footwork are a nightmare for Tank. They're underestimating him, and that's dangerous." With both fighters laser focused, this rematch is shaping up to be a war for the ages. Odd. And just to stir the pot even more, Tank's former opponent Frank Martin has entered the conversation with his own fiery take.
Want to compete with Roach, but what did you think about that fight? Like, did you think it was competitive?
Yeah. I think it was competitive. I feel like with them having I feel like the relationship that they got or they had, as far as coming up together and kind of knowing the same people, working with the same people, it kind of was more of the fight was more of like I feel like so Roach came out and fought.
Frank Martin knows what a focused GervontaDavis looks like. He fought him in June 2024 and saw Tank at his absolute best. Martin started strong in that bout, but once Davis turned up the heat, it was over. In the 8th round, Davis landed a brutal uppercut followed by a sharp left hand that knocked Martin out cold. It was a powerful reminder of Tank's knockout potential.
He could possibly fight, right? Against Tank. He came out with his A game, boom. And I feel like Tank came in that fight not underestimating Roach, but more like we got history. I know what he liked, basically, but Roach is gonna automatically have more of a little spark because he tried to get that spot. And Tank probably just like, I know you. I'm gonna do what I want to do to you. I'm gonna do what I've done to you. Because I know they fought prior. The fights might have been close or whatever,
But Davis didn't look as dominant against Roach in March. Roach stood firm, countered with precision, and even forced Davis onto the back, foot earning a draw that many felt should have been a Roach win. Martin explained the difference. Roach brought his agame, no doubt, he told Fight Hype. But Tank wasn't dialed in. He underestimated Roach and fought too relaxed.
I feel like Tank fought that fight not like fully like trying to get off. I don't feel like, like he fought it more relaxed and chill instead of, really trying to get him up out of there. I think that he thought the fight may have been easier than what it was. And Roach did his thing. He took advantage of that. And shit, the fight came to a draw. But I think the rematch, honestly,
The fight's most controversial moment came in round 9 when Davis dropped to a knee after a jab. He returned to his corner mid-round, where a trainer wiped his eyes. Davis later blamed it on hair grease affecting his vision. Referee Steve Willis began a count, but neither ruled it a knockdown nor penalized the corner interference. Martin criticized the handling. Tank brings the money. They'll always favor him. He told Fight Hype. But Tank wasn't dialed in. Underestimated Roach and fought too relaxed.
it's gonna be a good fight still, but I think Tank may get him up out of there this fight. And even with the knockdown and all that stuff too, I know you probably was gonna ask me about that. It was a close ass fight. I feel like the draw was cool, but with him taking the knee, like I say, Tank. Like they gonna give it to their man. They gonna give it to the guy with the.
When asked whether Tank performed better against him or Roach, Martin didn't hesitate. Oh, for sure he was way more locked in with me. Against punchers, you've got to be sharp. He didn't see Roach as a threat, but that's going to change. I still think Tank wins, but this time, He's going for the knockout.
Close fight overall, but the rematch, I feel like Tank gonna do. He gonna turn up on this next one.
You think he was locked in more with you than Roach, or you think it was kind of
for sure? Hell yeah! I feel like he was a lot more locked in with me than Roach. Roach a good fighter. Roach a good fighter, but I just feel like it was more. He was more locked in when it came to me. Just because when you.
Martin also expressed interest in facing Roach himself, taking a playful jab. I'd fight him, no doubt, with that big head, he joked. Meanwhile, Davis's old rival Rolando Rowley Romero is backing Tank. I'm picking Tank, Romero said. He'll make the right adjustments and take Roach out in the rematch.
I definitely felt that.
I truly but that also didn't seem like just Tank in general. And
so was that Lamont or Tank's fault?
And I will tell you this, Tank, I know for a fact, was sparring a 122 pounder, and that was the only person he sparred all camp. Literally all camp that he sparred a 122 pounder.
Was he tall at least?
No, he's shorter than Tank.
Bro.
Or him and Tank same height. Like I said, Tank wasn't really training. That people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound for pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just off night, or
everybody has an off night?
Romero, who was knocked out by Davis in 2022, offered a balanced take on the matchup. He praised Roach's performance, but believes Tank will grow from the experience. Roach surprised everyone, even himself, Romero said during a media appearance with Ryan Garcia. He was sharp, calm, and composed. But that rematch needs to happen to much controversy. That knee incident, the timeout was all bizarre.
Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night with Cruz. Everyone has a nice boxing.
You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
Maybe down the line. Tremendous fighter, bro. He's a really good fighter, man, dude. He beat Hector Garcia, and then he took the ball from him, and he came up, and I know he's a lot more durable and stronger at 135.
He's also seen Tank the most in previous fights before.
Romero added, if they had called that a knockdown, Roach would have won. None of those shots hit Tank hard enough to drop him. It just didn't make sense. Roach fought like a pro. It doesn't tarnish Tank's legacy. He's still one of the greats. But it showed how elite Roach is.
They fought twice before in the amateurs.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, they had history and they sparred a good amount of times and all that stuff. Yeah, but...
So you think a rematch... Do you think this remotivated Tank? And do you think a rematch, Tank just goes in and wins that fight?
I don't know, bro. We gotta see what like if it was a Tank tag.
Ryan Garcia also chimed in, telling EA's News, I've got Tank. He'll shift to another level. Last time he thought it'd be easier, Roach didn't fold. Now he knows better. Coming from someone who shared the ring with Davis Garcia's insight adds even more intrigue to the rematch. He believes Tank won't make the same mistake again.
As seen in the fight, I thought Lamont won, and I think the commission does need to do something with that knee, because if they don't, then all of us are going to think we could take a knee anytime we want. They got to do something about it.
Right.
I mean, they did something about me, you got to do something about other people. Rules are rules, right?
Right.
It's I like Tank though, personally, but a rule is a rule. You can't go and take a knee and then just expect not to be a knockdown. You can't get away with stuff like that.
When you say 1 foot in boxing and 1 foot out.
Garcia's comments sparked debate, with some fans claiming guys like Garcia and Romero only support Tank to protect their own reputations. Shocker, Stevenson had a different take, predicting the rematch will be just as tough. Back in March, few expected Roach to last, let alone earn a draw, but he proved he belonged at 135.
Offense against Tank is a recipe for disaster, but it's low output, high accuracy.
Good body shot there from Tank. There's another body shot from Davis. Straight right down the middle. Always a weapon against the southpaw. New left hook by Roach in the jab. Nothing more. There's a chopping right hand. Good punch from Roach. In fact, our unofficial scorer, Larry Hazard.
Had referee Steve Willis ruled the knee in round 9, a knockdown, and penalized the illegal timeout, Roach would have won. Stevenson, who backed Roach from the start, said he bet on the fight going the distance and pocketed $25,000. Knew Lamont wasn't getting a decision, he said, so I bet the distance instead.
Magazine rankings did come out, and we know your accolades. We know what you've done. You know, Keyshawn's made a lot of noise recently, and that's your boy. But what do you think about him being ranked above you?
So what do you think about the rankings?
I mean, if you're asking me personally, Kevin Garcia, I think that you should be ranked #1.
Okay. So
based on your accolades.
The guy at #1 is a guy that just had to draw his last fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, what are we talking about? It ain't really nothing to even talk about. It is what it is.
Even though Stevenson believes in Roach's skills, he still wants Davis to come out on top. Tank is one of the biggest names in boxing. I want to fight him someday. He's the money fight.
Today. So what do you think, considering you were one of the handful of people to pick Lamont Roach, giving him a tough fight? What do you think?
I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So,
but Stevenson isn't buying into the idea of an easy win. People act like it'll be a walk in the park. I know Lamont. I've sparred with him. He's waited for this shot his entire life. I knew he'd be a problem. I didn't think he'd win on points, so I played it safe.
No, I kind of said 154. I probably was stretching. I'm stretching 154, but I'll fight him at 147. 147, me and Conor could get it in.
Johnny Boy Boxing and fight him. If you beat Zepeda, do you feel that that's the toughest test of your career? And they'll give you the credit if you win?
Who knows? It's a never-ending process, I think I stopped looking for credit because at the end of the day, once you get the credit, something else happen, they gonna move on anyway. So the credit really doesn't matter. It just matter how I feel, what I feel like.